Hello to our friends in Syracuse. My name is Philip Rulo with Rultract, and I wanted to quickly go over the questions that you had regarding the new Rultract retractors that were just purchased. Some of the equipment that you have at SUNY is not as old as the others. The oldest retractors that you have were purchased 4 years before my oldest daughter was born, and she's 32. So I don't have anything that old to show you, but this is similar to what you had in your older retractors and what you're used to seeing. This hub here is attached to the rake plate, which is attached to the cable. So that's fixed. It can't be removed. We've made an update to that, and it's similar to what you have in your NUS or pectus retractor. It's the same thing, actually. We've also changed the rakes, these old rake tips, and these are not as old as the ones that you have. The originals were more fragile, and after so many years could actually fracture and needed to be replaced. So we've made a change to those as well. Somebody had mentioned the lever. I'm not sure if this is the lever they were talking about, but it's the only lever that we actually have on here. And if you don't have it on your older retractors, I don't know how they would have worked correctly. They're going to look a little bit different, but they're still going to be there. So this reversing lever is still there. So this is the older style retractor, and it was replaced. One other thing that your NUS retractor doesn't have either. As you can see here, this is a solid spool cap cover. So we've made a change to that as well. So the spool cap cover now has grooves in it, which allows for better penetration of steam and water during sterilization and cleaning. The next thing that you've noticed is you have a big hook. This is very similar to your pectus retractor, of course, because you can remove the rake plate and you can attach accessory rakes to it like you do for the NUS procedure. Now this obviously is not a NUS rake, but that's what the clip is for, and that clip's going to be on all retractors now. For I believe the last 20 years we haven't had the hub design, we've only had the snap clip. So there's also resternotomy attachments that can be attached to it, different retractors, you get the idea. So that's what they look like. The rake design is different. You can see that's a significantly more robust rake tip. So that's going to be significantly less prone to fractures. So that's how these rakes look now. The last question that was brought up was that one of your retractors wasn't functioning properly when you received it. A couple of different things here, and I'll try to be quick. Your older retractors, when you unwound the cable from the spool, you had weight on it. So as you unwound it, the cable came out of the spool pretty easily. And then of course, when you wound it back up, you always had weight on it because this rake plate was always on it. So as you wound it up, it always wound uniformly on the spool. So when you went to unwind it, it would unwind very easily. One of the issues with having just a snap clip is there's no weight on the end of this. So when you go to remove the cable from the spool, and Shelley, this is what I was referring to, you don't want to unwind this cable from the spool. You can, but if you do it, there's a good possibility it's going to get kinked inside the spool. It can be easily fixed, but it will happen. So what you do want to do, and this is covered in the instructional video that I'll include in this email, what you want to do is pull it out of the spool. If you pull it out of the spool, it's always going to come out uniformly and it won't get kinked inside. If it does, and you have a retractor there that you're not able to unwind, all you need to do is to remove this spool cap cover, take it off, separate these two. Might be a little difficult with all the cable inside of it, but it will come apart. And then once it does, you're going to put it back together, making sure, of course, that the flat part of the spool is lined up with the cable guide and the spool cap cover. Put your spool cap nut back on. And then when you wind this up, ideally what you would like to do is attach the rake plate to it. At the very least, let it hang like this. If you're sitting at your desk or your table, you don't want to wind it up like this because it's more likely that cable can get kinked inside the spool, causing the problem that you're having. So what you want to do is to hold it and let that snap clip hang and then wind it. What I tell accounts to do is to attach the rake plate to it, let it hang, and then wind it up. If you do that, the cable is going to wind up uniformly on the spool, and it's going to come out very easily as well. So that would eliminate the problem that you're having. So go ahead and try to correct that problem with the one retractor. Obviously, if it doesn't work, we'll replace it. But through my experience, that's always been the case. So hopefully that answered some of your questions. Sorry it took so long. If you have any questions, call me or email me or text me. Thank you. Have a good day.